So this is the Philips CDI 220. It looked very similar, of course, to VHS machine, as I presume it was designed to sit comfortably against them in the lounge. This is just the CD opening. There's an open button here to pop the drive in and out. The black section here was for the FMV cartridge, a very large cartridge, and all that basically did was to allow video to play as opposed to just a standard game, because quite a lot of the CDI games did use video. Across here, mains input and the conversion to DC. Being a fairly dated console, of course, these parts are quite thick. And the motherboard, which again is quite large, covering around about a foot by a foot, and makes it really quite a big board, much bigger than a 450. Anyway, the reason that the drive unit is removed here is that the system wasn't working, and there were two aspects to that problem. One of which was down here. You see the, just pull this across a fraction, the wheel was turning when this, which is a motor, spins to tell it to open and close, but the belt was a bit loose, so of course without the friction it wasn't turning properly. All I had to do there was to put in a little post, a little piece of plastic with a topping on it so it doesn't slide off, and that doesn't get in the way of the mechanism as it closes. But the other issue was, you can just see here, there's a top for the motor that spins the drive unit. That was actually stuck down, for want of a better expression. Presumably over time, as a CD was pressed against it, it just pressed it down too many times and effectively got stuck against this metal holder, and therefore of course it wasn't rotating. It now rotates absolutely freely. So what we then do is to reassemble the unit and give it a test. Just going to show a couple of other things for anyone who's interested. The screws that the Philips uses is the same on this unit and with the 450. They're tiny hex screws, which are an absolute pain if you don't have the right screwdriver for them. Fortunately I had one of these lying around. It was just from a set of about 6 and they cost about £2, but it's the right one for the job. The other thing I wanted to show was the back of the drive unit itself. As you see here, there are the two motors. The one for the tray opening is here, and the one for spinning the disc, of course, is here. Two sets of wires, that's easy enough. These two sets of wires connect to the two ports down here, so that's no problem at all. However, the ribbon cable is extremely short and of course very fragile, and that helps to operate the laser, which, as you notice, works a bit differently to normal. Usually they move backwards and forwards. This one, I don't quite know how they do it, but basically the unit rotates like this. The ribbon has to go into this part, and the most sensible way I can think of doing that is to basically take this unit and keep it at a slight angle, and then you should be able just to maneuver it into the port. Once that's down, you can lock it down. There are 4 screws that hold the drive unit in place, 2 here for the 2 long screws and the shorter ones over here, and then it's just a case of putting the top over as per normal and giving the system a go. So it transpired that using the post didn't work in the end, because basically this rubber band is shot. So what I did is I found a stock of old rubber bands. It's nice to have an application for them. Anyway, as you see, I put a spare one here just in case the problem happens again. These are old bands and they might break. What I did was to install it into here. Let's put the flashlight on so you can see. Just put it around the cog of the motor and around the larger cog, which helps to operate the door. And if I now close the unit up so that it's in ready mode, turn the system on, as you see it's now booting. I don't have the controller for the system, however I can do what I need to do with the buttons on the front here. So let's start off by ejecting and popping in the game disc, closing the drive, you see, it's all spinning nicely now, and I press play. Just by releasing the spindle in the middle has now made it free, and as you see, it's working absolutely great. And there's the proof of the pudding. It's using the side of the chair because it's nice and convenient to hold the camera steady. So there's a demonstration. Got the system working, prepared the drive and also the eject.